Have you ever sat alone by a lake as evening settles in? No noise, no phone notifications, just the water, smooth and still like a mirror. Ducks drift by slowly. They are not in a rush. They are not straining. They look as if nothing in this world could possibly disturb them. Everything feels too perfect, too peaceful. But the truth is, the surface of a lake is very good at lying. Because if you could dive beneath that water, even just a few inches down, you would see a completely different scene. The duck's legs are not relaxed at all. They are paddling nonstop, hard, fast, without rest. Every second is a struggle to keep from sinking. Stop for even a moment, and the calm above collapses instantly. And maybe that image feels more familiar than you expect. During the day, you might walk into class with a carefully measured smile. You answer questions smoothly. Your grades are fine. Your resume looks solid. You look like someone who is genuinely doing okay. But when night falls, when the door closes, when no one is watching anymore, that is when you feel your legs shaking. A nameless exhaustion, a vague anxiety, and the frightening feeling that if you stop trying, everything will sink. Welcome to today's podcast episode. Today, we are talking about a psychological phenomenon known as duck syndrome. This is the story of people who seem to be doing great on the outside, but are not okay on the inside. It is the story of a generation raised to admire effort, yet feel ashamed to admit they are struggling. We are living in a strange era, an era where trying hard is praised, but struggling is treated like failure. You can see it the moment you open your phone. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Everywhere you look are the brightest highlights of other people's lives, scholarships, achievements, travel, smiles, success that appears effortless, as if nothing was ever sacrificed. And slowly, an unspoken standard is created. Not just being good, but being good naturally. If you study all night, you are seen as someone who is trying too hard. But if you say, "I barely studied and still get top grades," you instantly become the role model. And so we learn a dangerous lesson. Never let anyone see you paddling. We start hiding our exhaustion, hiding sleepless nights, hiding the fear that we are not as capable as people think. We wear a calm exterior, like ducks gliding gently across the lake, while underneath, our legs are nearly out of strength. And maybe the thing that exhausts you the most is not studying, work, or expectations, but the constant effort to look like you are always fine. There is one place where duck syndrome is talked about more than almost anywhere else: Stanford University, one of the most prestigious schools in the world. Here, everything always seems fine. Students move briskly across the green campus, coffee in hand, headphones on, faces calm, as if life is nothing more than a series of easy choices. Everyone looks busy, but no one looks miserable. Everyone is talented, but no one admits they are trying. And it was in this environment that people began to name a strange phenomenon. Stanford students are like ducks on a lake. Above the surface, they appear confident, in control, even with time to join clubs, socialize, and build a personal brand. But beneath the water is a relentless race against pressure, expectations, and the fear of falling behind. The most terrifying part is this: no one dares to be the first to admit they are sinking. Duck syndrome does not spread through bacteria or viruses. It spreads through comparing glances, through casual questions like, "You are so good at this, why are you still stressed?" It spreads through the fear that if you admit you are tired, you will look weak in other people's eyes. Slowly, people learn to stay silent, not because they are not hurting, but because they do not know who to talk to. Emily is one of them. If you met Emily in real life, you would probably think she is truly doing fine. Emily is a senior at a top university. She is always neatly dressed, speaks gently, and never seems rushed. In other people's eyes, Emily is the type of person who has everything under control. She does well academically, works well in group projects. No drama, no complaints. Emily's Instagram looks like a catalog of an ideal life. Perfectly timed photos of presentations. Group study sessions filled with laughter. Short trips that quietly prove she knows how to balance life. Tonight, at 8 o'clock, Emily posts a photo of her tidy desk. Her laptop is open to her thesis document. Soft yellow lighting. A short caption with just a few words. Let's do this. Within minutes, notifications start pouring in. Likes, comments, compliments. You are amazing. So inspiring, as always. Emily reads each one, smiles, and taps the heart button in return. A warm feeling spreads in her chest, as if all her effort has been recognized. As if she is doing everything right. But if you were there at 2 in the morning, the story would be completely different. The room is much darker. The warm light is gone, replaced by the cold blue glow of the computer screen. The desk is no longer tidy. Scraps of paper are scattered on the floor. The iced coffee has long since melted, leaving a ring of water on the table. Emily sits still in front of the screen, shoulders slumped. She rereads the opening sentence of her thesis, then deletes it. Writes again, deletes it again. Her mind is no longer filled with knowledge, only questions, drilling deeper and deeper. What if this is not good enough? What if the grade is not high enough? What if people find out she is not as capable as they think? Emily's throat tightens. She wants to cry, but no tears come. She wants to message someone and say she is exhausted, but her fingers stop. She does not know where to begin. And more than that, she is afraid of shattering the image she has worked so hard to build. So Emily finishes the cold coffee. She straightens her back, keeps typing, keeps deleting, keeps paddling. On social media, she is still a confident senior with everything under control. But beneath the surface, her legs are trembling from exhaustion. Emily's story is not an isolated case. In reality, many of us are living this way without even realizing it. From the perspective of behavioral psychology, this is a constant collision between two versions of the self, the person we present to the world and the person who truly exists inside. When the gap between these two versions keeps growing, exhaustion becomes unavoidable. One of the strongest forces behind duck syndrome is the trap of social comparison. Every day, when you open your phone, your brain absorbs hundreds, sometimes thousands, of images showing other people's best lives. Those moments are not fake, but they are incomplete. They are highlight reels, carefully selected, edited, and arranged. Meanwhile, you compare them to the messy behind the scenes of your own life. And the conclusion is almost always the same. You are not good enough. From this, a dangerous paradox emerges. Society tends to admire natural talent more than hard-earned effort. Trying too hard becomes something to hide. To protect their self-esteem, many people choose to appear effortless. If they succeed, they are praised for being naturally gifted. If they fail, they can tell themselves they never really tried. But the price of this psychological strategy is isolation. When you build a perfect image, you also build a wall that keeps anyone from reaching the most vulnerable parts of who you really are. The roots of duck syndrome are often planted very early in life. Many people grow up in environments where love and recognition are tied to achievement. When you behave well, you are praised. When you excel, you receive attention. But when you stumble, the unspoken message is to pick yourself up quietly and not bother anyone. Over time, a silent belief takes shape. Only when I am good enough do I deserve to be loved. Weakness then becomes something to hide. Psychologist Carl Jung called this rejected part of the self the shadow, and the face we show the world the mask. For people with duck syndrome, that mask is no longer just a role. It feels fused to the skin. Because the greatest fear is not failure itself, but the thought that if the mask falls away, no one will stay. Yet genuine human connection has never been built on perfection. It is built through cracks. Through moments when we dare to say, I am tired. Much like the Japanese philosophy of wabi-sabi, where beauty lives in imperfection, in the marks left by time and experience. Those cracks do not make you less valuable. They are proof that you have lived, that you have tried, and that you have endured. Life is not a competition to see who looks the most graceful gliding across the surface of a lake. It is more like a river, with calm stretches and violent currents. Constantly trying to appear calm is a battle against nature itself, and no one can win that battle forever. Change does not have to begin with dramatic decisions. Sometimes it starts with something very small, allowing yourself to be vulnerable intentionally, daring to share your exhaustion with someone who feels safe, daring to admit to yourself that today you are not okay. Learning to separate your self-worth from grades, from achievements, from virtual likes. Seeing failure as data to adjust your course, not as a verdict on who you are. And most importantly, learn how to rest without feeling guilty. Doing nothing at times is exactly what your body and mind need. Stillness is not a waste. It is restoration. Life is far bigger than the expectations you are trying to carry on your shoulders. You were not born to become a perfect version of yourself in other people's eyes, but to live a life that is honest to who you truly are. You do not need to be a graceful swan. Being a clumsy, tired duck that keeps floating with the current is already an act of courage. When you dare to stop paddling, you may realize that around you there is more than just cold water. There will be hands reaching out. There will be understanding. And there will be a strange, quiet feeling of peace when you no longer have to prove that you are okay. Thank you for staying until the very end. If this episode touched you in any way, please like and follow so you do not miss the deeper conversations in future episodes. Your support is the reason I can keep creating content like this. I will see you in the next episode.